Hello there, it's Terry here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I wanted to share a card that I created using the masking technique. Today's card is featuring Pawsome stamp set called Deck the Halls. Let's get started. Okay, so for this card, it requires a lot of masking. So what I like to do first is stamp out all of my images onto masking paper and then fussy cut each images out to use for my card front later. I then place a white cardstock in my Misty platform and use 3 of the ornaments to stamp on the bottom of the cardstock. I like to leave spaces in between each ornament because what I'm going to do is apply the masking paper on top and then re-stamp some of the ornaments on top of the masking paper. That way it will look like the ornaments are laying on top of each other. Here you can kind of get a better idea of it. So all of the images that's on the cardstock now has been masked. And what I'm doing is I'm placing 2 more ornament stamps on top. Then going back in and inking the stamp, I went ahead and stamped that onto the cardstock. So what this is doing is all of the images that's under the masking paper will not get ink on it, but anything that's exposed will have ink stamped on the cardstock. So I went ahead and repeated the steps. So all of the images on my cardstock has been masked. I don't want any of the ink stamps over that area. So what I'm doing here is I'm applying new ornament stamps over that. And that area that I ink will be exposed, so therefore ink will show. And here you can get a better visual. I went ahead and removed some of the masking paper. And as you can see here, the ornaments are layering on top of one another, behind each other. And that's because of the masking paper. So here I am just adding 2 more masking paper down because I want to stamp another ornament in between these 2. And I went ahead and repeated the process. So for this card panel, I want to ink blend the entire background. So what I want to do is I want to mask up the entire ornament on my card front. So here I'm just re-inking some more stamps onto masking paper and then fussy cutting all of that out. I then went ahead and applied each masking paper onto each ornament on the card front. Now that the mask has been applied onto the entire card front, I went ahead with my blending brush and used Distress Oxide inks in Antique Linen, Tattered Rose, and Worn Lipstick. When ink blending my card panels, I like to go in with the lighter shade first and then select the middle shade and then darker shade at the end, going back and forth between the 2, making sure to blend it evenly. I then went in and added water splatters onto the card panel. Okay, so this is the best part, the reveal of the background. So I went ahead and removed all of the masking paper and went straight to coloring with my Copic markers. When I was coloring the ornaments, I did notice that some of the black ink areas were faded. So I went in with my black gel pen and touched up all of the details. I also went in with a white gel pen and added highlights all over the ornaments. Okay, so let's talk about the sentiment. Using the alphabet die from my stash, I went ahead and cut the word joy out of gold and vellum paper. I always have trouble aligning my sentiments straight on my card panel, so what I like to do is use a T-square ruler to help with alignment. I then trimmed down gray cardstock a little larger than my card front and adhered that with liquid glue. I am using a white top folding card base for this card. I wanted to add a little bit of details to my card base, so I went in with gold paper and cut that down with my trimmer. I'm not paying attention to the size of the strip here, I just want to make sure that it's thin. I then went ahead and used liquid adhesive and adhered the gold strip at an angle onto the card base, while leaving some space in between each strip. And then using my scissors, I went ahead and trimmed off all of the hanging pieces. Okay, so now to adhere the card front to the card base, I like using dimensional foam on my card front. So I went ahead and applied that on the back and adhered that onto the card base. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.